So yeah, just today we'll quickly go through some of the upcoming activities for Uplift, what's going on. We'd love to hear your thoughts or questions you may have on the programming that's coming up, if you have any specific questions, and then also how you're all doing and whether you need help on sharing that information and pieces like that. We'll also talk about the DLO perks. And then we're going to give a couple of our team members a little plug on other activities related to grants and marketing. And then we'll kick off with Zartico. So any specific questions from our team or anyone else on the call before I kick it all off? All right. And welcome. Thanks for being here.
You can always put questions in the chat or comments as you go.
Yeah, there we go. All right, Hesse, do you mind sharing the screen? We'll just run through the calendar, just because that's probably the easiest way. I'll also put that link in the chat in a minute after we've kind of run through it, just so that you all know. But this is on our website. It's in yeah, I think you all probably know where that is, but again, I'll stick it on the chat in just a minute. This Hesse, I think pretty much lives in this every other day, so she's updating it constantly. So this is the best resource to go to as you want to just quickly check in on what's coming and what's happening. As you all are aware, and many of you have already attended some of the things that we've been having the last months, but kicking off in February, we will continue two kind of weekly programs. Well, continue one and start another. We have Marketing Mondays that kicks off a couple of weeks ago. On Monday earlier we had one on adventure tourism. This coming Monday we have one on culinary tourism. They each last about 20 minutes. They're at 4 o'clock on Mondays. So it's a really good kind of short, the calendar actually says an hour, but it's really not. It's 20 minutes plus any discussion and conversations that anyone wants to have. So the goal there is they're really short and concise little chunks of information if you want to check in on those. And those plus a lot of the other webinar programming will all be online. So we're also building up a pretty solid bank of videos on different subjects. So that's also a great resource. It's in the Knowledge Center on our website. So if you miss something, that's a great resource to go and find. So Marketing Mondays is every Monday at 4. We're also going to kick off in the next week or two Funding Fridays. So that'll be kind of a similar format, a specific subject each Friday, and we'll highlight the funding opportunities, grants, loans, etc. for that. We also are kicking off next week on Tuesday evening, the incubator. That's closed. We actually have a really good attendance for the incubator this cohort, but we'll be having another cohort in the future as well. That is 9 weeks long in the evenings, but it will wrap up in April. And we will want to celebrate those businesses and organizations in April once they finish the program. So we'll probably be reaching out to you all for where you have businesses and organizations in your counties to kind of celebrate the success of coming through that program and what these tourism experiences are, etc. We also have a Sustainability Lab webinar kicking off. That is next week. Hesse's trying to move me along because I'm talking too much. This is starting on Thursday next week. It's a lunchtime one, so lunch and learn type thing, 12 to 1 o'clock. This is a sustainability lab about essentially practical tools for becoming more sustainable, both as a destination as well as individual businesses, sites, or attractions. So the first one next week will be more introductory, and then there'll be 3 others that'll get more into the practical parts of it. But those will from essentially a behavioral scientist who's really good at what she does. So it's really practical stuff on how to tweak customer behavior and things like that. And then those will follow with in-person ones in March. But before I get to that, there's one that's not on this calendar that you'll see. Kofi and his colleague DJ are going to put on a placemaking webinar at noon on Wednesday, the 14th of February. And I'll pass off to Kofi just to give a 30 or 60 seconds on that.
Sounds good. Thank you, Simon. Again, my name is Kofi Boone. I teach at NC State University, and as a part of the team, I teach landscape architecture, so design and planning and stewardship of the land. And placemaking has come up a lot as we've talked to different communities in terms of how to tell the story of communities to enhance tourism and economic development through the environments that they have. So Dr. Dunjai and myself have put together a webinar that we hope shares some of those principles, and we'll roll out a few more webinars in the coming months that deal with other issues with the natural and the built environment to provide tools for you all.
Thank you. Perfect. And there's one other thing in February that might also excite you all or some of your partners and colleagues. On the 12th, Monday the 12th, which is not next week but the following week, there's one by Chris Kavanagh on occupancy tax. So that was answering, many of you asked questions about issues or questions you have related to occupancy tax on Airbnb and other related questions. So that'll be at 2 p.m. on Monday, February 12th. Okay, switching. Sorry, I know I'm taking up too much time. In March, we continue the incubator that goes through the whole month. Sorry. We also have the Marketing Mondays as well, and then we have and then we have the Sustainability Lab that will be in person. That'll be a half day, so about 3.5 to 4 hours in the morning in each of the counties. Oh, sorry, in each of the regions on the 13th, the 20th, 21st, and 27th, and that'll be kind of coming off of this month's webinars. Anyone that's interested in tweaking and adjusting their operational models for sustainability, so mainly businesses, sites, or attractions, but you all as DLOs are also welcome to attend. It's essentially, we'll get into the practicality of how to do that in your operations in an in-person format then. And then in March, what else do we have? Hello and highlights. We're rejigging a little bit, so we might adjust that a little bit, but we might shift that. Anything I'm missing in March? Okay. April, we have with a wrap up of the incubator. So again, we'll be in touch in terms of celebrating the businesses, sites, and attractions that went through part of that. We'll also be kicking off a paddle trail series, so those with waterways and how to invigorate your paddle trails. And then at the end of April, and then at the beginning of May as well, we'll be doing another essentially regional meeting. So the goal of these meetings, there'll be full day in person in the regions. The primary focus will be on itinerary building. So we'll look around how to build or building itineraries for the regions, and then those will help to guide things like familiarization trips and other activities after that. So we'll have that itinerary building workshops in person in each region in April and May. There'll also be a little bit of a session in there about any kind of updates and tweaks to the program over the last year, because in the summer we'll then restart another 12-month cycle of the same kind of programming. So we'll also want to get your thoughts on that. And then lastly, in May, we'll also be doing a workshop on 4 T's. So tips, tricks, tactics, and techniques, which is kind of in-person hosting. Once you get a visitor to your site or attraction or business, tips to engage with them, to tell the story, to develop those narratives, and the kind of practical part of hosting visitors in your space. And then the paddle trail series will continue through that as well, which will be online.
That's probably all we want to go through at this.
I think that's probably good. Maybe I'll switch off to you. Yeah.
Will you show everybody like below where to sign up for each individual thing? Yeah, I find that part really nice. And there's a drop down menu for each of them that tell a little bit more about each program, but that's basically how you sign up. I know, Simon, you wanted to also ask about how we can best support getting the word out.
Yeah, I mean, any thoughts from you all on how we can support you getting the word out and how it's kind of gone in terms of sharing the information or thoughts you might have on that? Put you all on the spot.
Is everybody just sending these to their big list? You know, like I have my big list and my small list. My big list is everyone I invited at the get-go to know about Uplift, because some things I was sending and then I got some comments that, you know, this doesn't apply to us. And then I started to try to cherry pick them. So I was just curious what others are doing, how you're getting the word out.
I can speak to that a little bit. Hello, everyone. I'm Nicole Outlaw, Berkeley County. So there are two things that are happening for us right now. We have a new nonprofit, Pride of Bertie, and we have Destination Bertie, which is launching our process for developing a TDA. And so what we've tried to do is share with our project oversight committee, which is a smaller committee, but it's really geared towards the travel and tourism component. However, they're not social sharers as much, so it kind of gets lost a little bit there. So for the other kind of social avenues that we have, I've just been pushing it to those folks so that they can then reshare. But again, I think that there's still room for some improvement there, but I like the list of just sending to like the listserv that's more of a concentrated group, and then just really kind of reiterating, hey, could you share this for us? And, you know, continue to share with your networks. But that's kind of what's been happening for us over here.
I guess too, like if you share it wide with your network, you know, you can always put the header up there. This looks great for festivals, or this looks great for historic houses, or.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I just wanted to make sure I'm not doing anything, that we're doing what we need to be doing to get people involved.
Anybody else have thoughts on or want to share how they're getting the word out about the 13,000 programs that Uplift is doing?
Or if there is another way that we can share the information with you guys so you guys can reshare it. I know that emails have been going out every week, kind of every day. So we're trying to minimize that and make it as concise as possible for you guys. But if there's another way we can share this information so you guys can reshare it, we would love to know that.
I know that's already on the website, which I can get distracted easily because I'm like, oh, look at this, look at that. Would you, or have you shared like, just like, here's our month, like a snapshot of what we're doing for the month of this, you know, April or March or what, I mean, just thinking about, then, you know, folks can really just see, and maybe it's a PDF that's linked to, you know, this work. I don't know. Just, I think maybe having folks see it on a list, like for the month, might be helpful. And then also we could print that and share it with people inside offices.
Yeah, we are starting this month with what's coming this month only. I think we started last month with it, but it was like very small. But this month it just has everything that you saw on the calendar just for the month. It's still a lot of information, and it's still a little worry based on all the programs that we want to share. But we are doing that, and that's kind of coming out like the first week or second week of the month every month.
And can you hear me? I don't know if mine's right. This is Megan. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So I have a lot of success around here with Facebook event pages. I know that's just another place to add the same information, but that helps me with the events around here, and it definitely gets the word out.
do you create, so you must create an event for each of the events that you're,
Some of them you can do recurring, but especially the stuff that I know not everything is something that would be for everybody, but it's something you really, like whether it's the webinars, the big ones, because it'd be tedious, but they're really not hard to create. All you need is an image, and then it takes less than a minute.
yeah, you're right. Something like Marketing Mondays, that 20-minute thing that PJ is doing would be a great recurring one.
It really helps when people click on it and it'll say, Carol Klein is attending this event. Then, it appears on their news feed. I've had a lot of success around here with those.
Yeah. If I see that Nicole Outlaw is attending something, I want to be there too.
Right.
That's
Thanks.
great. Thank you.
Morning. I was just gonna say, I've been pitching it out on social media and email to direct tourism partners. I don't know what kind of response we've gotten for some of the workshops, but I think multiple interventions is what I've always heard, is continue to push that.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Nicole. We want to take just a minute to talk about DLO perks. First of all, Chris Bucks, if you have not taken advantage of the 6 hours of consulting with Chris Kavanaugh, that is still on the table. That is on the table for the remainder of Uplift programming, which to our knowledge will be ending December 2025. So if you're want to take advantage of the Chris Bucks at 6 hours of consulting, reach out to us or reach out to Chris directly. He knows what to do. And let's see, and other DLO perks, some of you have expressed interest in a social media audit. If you can let HESA know just that you're ready to get started with that, then we can take it from there. Also, so aside from the Chris Bucks, we offer 3 different perks, and you can choose 2 out of the 3. The Chris Bucks are for everybody. So you could have a social media audit. You could spend the same amount of money, $2,500 in partnership, applied towards a partnership program with Visit NC. They have a number of partner programs that you all are aware of that are centered around different types of marketing. Or you could use that $2,500 to hire someone locally to help you with whatever, or to have a remote worker. And the remote workers we can supply, and we would pay them directly, but you would manage their time. A local person that you want to hire, then we would actually send the money to you, and then you would pay them. So those are just very briefly the DLO perks. If you want to take advantage of any of those now or next year, just let us know. And if there's no questions about the DLO perks generally, which we're always happy to entertain, if you can put those in the chat or shout them out, we thought we just wanted to make sure you had time communicating with one another about upcoming things. I know Martin County has got something really, really special coming up next month. So if that might be Chase behind the screen, it might be Mo, but they are celebrating their 250th anniversary, something. Martin County, is that something you might want to elaborate on? And yeah, oh good, you unmuted.
Yeah, sure. It's Chase this time. I'm traveling, which is why I don't have my video. But absolutely, we got our 250th coming up for Martin County, March 14th. So that weekend, we are fast away planning some cool stuff for that weekend. We're going to have a formal dinner the night of the 14th. But the 16th, we're also going to be doing more of a mini festival and what I like to call like a pop-up museum. So we're gonna have people from all around the community telling their stories and unique things about, history in their part of the county. So really excited about that. And then we're going to sprinkle in stuff throughout the year. to really highlight local history and heritage. So definitely working nonstop at tourism, but all for good things. So we're excited about it.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who has stuff to share?
I don't know if Lewis has shared this, but we are going to be doing another Riverfest here in Bertie, like we did last year. So that's something that was a really big hit. We had lots of involvement from different organizations. There were so many workshops and active things happening, which was really great for us because we haven't had as much interaction with the festival like that since the Sage Festival, which has gone away. So Riverfest is coming back we had it June last year, I think it was. So there's lots of planning happening with that. And also we have our annual Juneteenth festival, which is kind of like starting to be a big festival here as well. So those are two coming up, which I'm not on any planning committees, but I will speak for Bertie because there are things I just want you guys to know about.
Thank you. Thank you. We will begin our transition to the second half of this gathering. We're going to be meeting with Marlise Taylor and Ashton. Don't know her last name. I can't hear it.
English.
English. From Visit NC to talk about the Zartico reports. I'm assuming everyone on the call have received a regional Zartico report. And has had a chance to look through it. I know when we looked through them, we had some questions. And so we asked Marlise and Ashton here to just clarify some of the finer points of the report. Before we start that though, Simon and I are having a conversation here, direct messaging. In terms of that I want to address, Terry, you had asked for the attendees, participants in the incubator. And so we are happy to provide that list. We're not going to share it publicly. But if any one of you want a list of the incubator participants, just let us know. And we can absolutely send that to you. In particular, if there's someone in your county, we feel like you should probably know that someone in your county is participating. That way you can like help be a cheerleader and you know, how's it going? And make sure they know that they've got your support. So
Yeah, that was my reason for asking.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, you know, these people, they don't know that there's additional support out there for them.
Yeah.
So, you know, it would be nice to know if they're thinking about it, at least being able to talk to them about what we do locally as well, and kind of bringing them into the fold.
I think that's amazing. So yeah, Simon and Lily will get with each of the DLOs where there is a participant and let you know who is from your county is going to be participating.
To address Angela's question on the chat, yes, we can definitely share who's participating in the webinars from your county as well. But that's also would be like we would pull a list and share with you guys individually if you would like to know that. So that way you can see who your advertising is going to and who's coming. So
yeah, and I did actually want to point or at least just add to that we do have quite a few people that will sign up. Not as many will often attend to things like webinars and some of the in-person ones as well. But then we have more that will kind of actually look at the video. So we don't actually know who's looking at the video. We just have counts of how many, but at least the people that have signed up.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, people might watch the recording afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, I think in many cases, more people watch the recording than actually watch the live session. But
all of our programming is supported by federal dollars, and so these are public programs, and there's really no, there's no proprietariness about who is attending. We just don't want to bombard you with the lists. Okay, so I think Ashton and Marlise are ready. Are you all ready to get your nerd on and talk about research? Always, yes. Ashton, Marlise, we should have had entry music for them. That would have been cool.
Oh, we always love entry music.
Right?
Yeah, man, that would be fun.
I know, like WWF.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. I love it. Well, we have a great group of DLOs here, as you see, Marlise and Ashton. And everybody has received the Zartico regional report. Thank you so much for pulling that. It's a great amount of information, sometimes a little bit too much information, right, to go through and then think about how to apply it. So that's why we've asked you here. Can you just, before we get into any Q&A, could you just give us a real brief rundown on how the reports work, especially since we're talking about regional reports?
Sure. So the majority of the data in these reports comes from geolocation data. So these are, cell phones where people have agreed to be basically tracked and through a variety of apps. And I won't get into all the numbers and details, but we estimate between 5 and 10% of visitors are tracked this way. So this is not intended to give you a visitor volume, but trending data so that you can understand, the average visitor and the average markets that you're seeing in your area. So a lot of times naturally in smaller areas, you're going to see fewer devices being tracked. So that's why, Uplift came to us and said, what about regional reports? And when we add, 2 or 3 counties or 4 counties together, we're able to see enough sample to give you valid results. So what you're seeing in your reports, depending on how many counties are in your region, it is, based on visitors and visitor spending in those aggregate counties. So hopefully that makes sense.
Fantastic. What are some of the ways that Marlise and Ashton, if you were a destination management director, a DMO director, I don't know why I had to say all the words, a DMO director, how would you be thinking about this information?
Wow. I think that it's really important for us to know our visitors, and part of that is knowing where they're from. And so I think the market of origin data is probably the most helpful, because it's going to really help you direct your marketing to the right places, because you're going to see, do people, and I pulled up just a sample report, but, do people, residents of Virginia come here more often than residents of South Carolina? And you could look at that 2 ways. You could say, okay, we know residents of Virginia really like us. Where in Virginia? So you could scroll down to the, specific markets and see that, oh, well, it's really people from Roanoke and Lynchburg who are visiting our 3-county region or whatever it might be, but maybe Richmond and Petersburg, Virginia residents are not. So that either gives you an opportunity to go further into that Roanoke, Lynchburg area, or maybe try a new or emerging market. Okay, we know Virginia is geographically close enough to this area. Maybe we should funnel some marketing dollars or some attention to another part of Virginia to kind of boost that. Similarly, you could look at states that way too, but it's easier to go into specific markets, I think, for smaller areas than, I think it's more effective, because, shooting a dart at a whole state cannot always be the most cost-effective way of marketing. So if you're able to look at those specific markets, I think that would probably be where I would go first. Again, we also have the in-state markets. So a lot of you really want to focus your marketing attention to in-state markets. So that's helpful as well. I think if you're probably along the border, you may look at other states, but maybe you're in the middle of North Carolina and you really don't think you can afford to go out of state. So maybe you go to either Wake or Mecklenburg. Well, which one is more beneficial to you? Which one is going to give you the best return on your marketing dollars? And then, of course, we have spending as well. So you're able to see, what visitors, where the visitors are from, who are the most, high quality in terms of spending for your area. So I would probably look at those two things the most. But certainly, the report as a whole is meant to really help you understand your visitor population.
Nice. Ashton, would you add anything to that?
Agree with Marlies. I just because
Oh, she's breaking up a little bit. So
Ashton's a bit glitchy today.
we work from home on Fridays, but usually it's not a problem. She might just be having a little issue today. So
yeah, Ashton, if there's anything you want to put in the chat, that'd be amazing. Oh, it looks like you're kind of back and moving. Okay.
try one more time, Ashton.
I was just gonna say I agree. I tend to look at the spending a little bit more. Yeah.
Great. Does anyone on the call have questions for Marlies and Ashton?
Hello, this is Terry from Bladen County. And I was a little surprised when I looked at the share spend by seasons, because typically in our area, they talk about the summer season being the most and that everything dies in the winter. But other than attractions, it still looks pretty like evenly based across all seasons as I'm looking at that report.
I don't have your particular one open right now, Terry. I should have opened all four of them. But what you want to think about is the share of all spending and what visitors are spending within that share. So when you're looking at share of spending, so you may have residents spending a lot more at a particular time of year, and the visitor share may be
Okay.
So you want to look at it that way. So it's of the total.
Okay.
So in raw dollars, yes, I would think that you would get more total spending in the summer, but as share of spend, it may not be as different. So you might have the holiday spending or people traveling through the area, so those can have an effect on that share of spend.
Okay, thank you.
But I can look at that. Particular region specifically and see if I kind of can pull anything out. And we're happy to do that. Anytime y'all have questions, all you need to do is email us. I would say copy Uplift folks on your questions just so they know you have questions. But Ashton and I are always happy to dig into the data more if there's something that really doesn't make sense, or you want maybe a little perspective on from our perspective, looking at it, kind of at the 30,000 foot view. We're happy to do that.
I would love to see that, because I know, my surrounding county partners in Uplift, we always look at ourselves as we're inland from the beach area, and, what are our opportunities? So I'd love to dive into that a little bit more.
Sure. Well, you have that big road coming right by you. So I think that's definitely going to have an effect on your spend for certain.
That's true.
And Terry, I know schedules are hard to coordinate, but I think it could be insightful for you and Angela and Sheila and Joan to meet with Marlies and Ashton and just talk about it as a region.
That would be great.
Yeah, we can do that. That'd be great. Ashton put our emails in the chat.
Okay.
And I think, it may be helpful at times to look at yourselves compared to the state. So you could say, okay, the state's kind of seeing this trend. Are we seeing the same trend? Do we need to, I'm not trying to sell other co-ops that Visit NC does, but there may be co-ops geared towards certain geographic areas that you may be interested in based on what you're seeing. Maybe if you're aligning with some of the state numbers, You may want to, look at ways to align with, your marketing with some of ours in terms of geography. It doesn't always work out like that, but I think it's always helpful to kind of look and see how you compare to either other regions or other state, or the state in general. And so you get a little bit of that at the top, comparison to states. We don't put a whole lot in this report, in terms of comparison, but we can always kind of help you, help you out with that. We also on our website, as an addition, we have a visitor profile study that is broken out. It's broader, and it's not the same data. We're actually talking to visitors, but we have a Coast Piedmont Mountains visitor profile. So I just kind of throw that out there to you as well. It's public and open to anyone who wants to look at that data, and that's on our partners.visitnc.com website. So just kind of as an aside, if you're interested in kind of overall data from a different source to kind of help you match. It's great to have different sources of data, but it's really great when they kind of match as well. So you're seeing the same market trends, or you're seeing the same type of attraction trends. So just throwing that out there in case you're not familiar. I know probably a lot of you are, but if you're not familiar with some of our other research that is available on our partners page, you're always welcome to go on there and pull data and let us know if you have questions on that as well.
Hi, Marley. This is Nicole. I'm in Bertie County, and we're really focusing a lot on our outdoor recreation component because we do have a lot of natural resources and waterways that folks travel to. We're just really trying to hone in on that. So I'm looking at the data, and I see that lots of people, of course, from Virginia, I mean, we're right here. We really would like to kind of see ways that we could kind of capitalize on those folks that are coming in for outdoor recreation and kind of bypassing us. So we will also have Highway 87 coming through here. And so I think that partner data might be helpful to us as we go into our next stages of planning for Destination Bertie. So whatever resources that you could provide, that would be great, or direct me to, that would be great.
Yeah, well, first of all, I would encourage you to talk to our outdoor NC team, Amanda Baker. I would just, as an aside, in addition to this particular project, I would encourage you to for sure talk to our team within Visit NC who are working on that outdoor NC initiative. But I would also within the Zartico report, so you've got where are visitors going within my destination. And again, I don't have your region opened, but I have a different region. But on page 4 of that report, you could see the percentage of visitors to different types of points of interest. And so you could see, what percentage of visitors go to outdoor recreation. And a lot of people get concerned because the spending is low and the visitor spend by category. But if you think about it, a lot of outdoor attractions don't cost anything. So you really want to look at the spending and the visitation together kind of holistically. So if you're seeing this particular region I'm looking at is seeing like 55% of the total visitors in their area going to outdoor recreation. So I think that is really important so you can understand where people are going, currently and how you can, boost those numbers. And then again, it will also give you kind of that visitor to resident ratio. So you could see, do you have any maybe untapped outdoor assets that your residents know about, but maybe your visitors don't know about, and you want to lead visitors that way. So, or maybe your residents don't want you to do that, but that's a good way to see, okay, well, we know that this is a very popular outdoor asset for our residents, but why aren't visitors going there? Maybe they don't know about it. Maybe the marketing hasn't been established for that particular outdoor asset yet. So I think that is helpful as well to look at it in terms of total. So looking at it from visitor to resident ratio, and then seeing that total proportion of visitors who go to different types of points of interest.
Awesome.
Thank
Megan,
you.
Megan, I'm going to put you on the spot. If you've gotten a chance to look at your report, you were one of the ones who we spoke with in the beginning about more data. Have you been able to apply this to anything going on in your strategies going forward? And also, thank you for being here representing the South Central region. I'm gonna shout out to the North Central region. We've got Granville, Person, and Caswell. Woo, woo. Has the data that you've seen in your region revealed anything surprising?
From Caswell, we're similar to Bertie, and I can't wait to get on a call separately and visit with you, Nicole, because I think we have a lot in common in terms of what's happening. I think our county manager we once had is now over with you all too, so I'm so excited for you guys there.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. Let's do it.
Yeah, so but I'm like you, we're very I've often compared in my mind my Castle County to Bertie County, and we too are looking for outdoor recreation promotion, and we are kind of locked, if so to speak, in between the South, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, and this huge $650 million Caesars Casino Resort that's being built in Danville, Virginia, which is borders our county. So it's like two miles. We can see it, from our county line. And it's understanding, how do we capture all those people that are coming through here? Because DOT is our, actually a town manager today is in a meeting with DOT about all this. We are having to add stoplights. We're having to add all kinds of things because the volumes increase, which is great. And we're a newly formed TDA, so we're trying to figure out how in the heck do we capture some of that and help our community understand the value of capturing that, because we are in our true rural form in an area where change is hard for all of us as humans, but especially I think in rural communities, because resistance to change I think is easier than changing. So I'm excited. I don't really understand everything I'm looking at yet. And I don't know that, we have a lot to analyze at this point, but the information as a whole is very valuable as it, lumps together, and as we can share some of that with the other leaders in our community. So yay for our region. I'm so excited. We're all here.
Yeah, and it gives you a baseline. We actually met in our office yesterday with the economic development director from Franklin County, who is probably very similar to your county as well. So, I mean, and they're just really starting out and addressing that issue of change. So, we encouraged her, and I always encourage you all to talk to each other and talk to counties, like you said, that are similar to yours, and to see, what they have done historically and where kind of what they place their focus on early on, I think is important. And, we always talk about Angela Allen as one of the the great people to talk to in terms of, having been there for Angela, I don't know, 9 or 10 years or so, but talking to each other, talking to people in similar communities. But really, this is meant to give you a baseline and some trend data. And, we at Visit and See are always here to help answer any other questions you may have, or, offer any other assistance that we can.
Thank you.
I thought you were just going to say, we always talk about Angela Allen, and you're just going to stop right there. Cause I mean, that'd be true.
8 years. Okay. Yeah, no, we do. We shout out Angela all the time. Yeah, so no, similar communities, and even if it's, a mountain community, but if it's, maybe the population is similar, or, some of the assets are similar, or some of the highways, leading to and from, or, it doesn't have to be a community in your specific area, but, a county that's similar to you in terms of what they have to offer. And I think that's always helpful to be able to, toss ideas back and forth.
Anybody else want to make a comment or suggestion for the report? Marlise and Ashton, are folks able to change the sites in the report?
Yeah, so right now we are going through what we're calling a POI update. And so Ashton and I are going through each county in North Carolina and looking at the points of interest that we currently have defined, and assigned to each county and adding or removing or, better defining them. And so, I mean, I feel like we've got a good handle on that, but if there is just an attraction in your county that you absolutely want to make sure that we do not miss, just email us and we will make sure that happens. We're using a variety of data sources to look at each county. But it would be great to hear, straight from you all what, assets, what points of interest are, utterly important to you. And I will say it has to be, it has to be something with, lat long, it has to have physical borders. It doesn't have to be a building, but it can't be like an event, because you might, let's say you looked at a downtown street, say, and, during an event, the visitation would be much different than not. So it would need to be a physical location. Another issue, and I don't know that this would really be a problem with many of you, but another issue, because this is satellite data, if you have a 2-story building, it's going to capture that whole building. So, say that there's a multi-level and with 2 organizations or points of interest in the same vertical. It would only capture that vertical. I don't think that would be a problem for many of you, but just keep that in mind, because this is coming from satellite data that's tracking the cell phones. But it's just something to keep in mind. But let us know. You can email Ashton and myself both if that works for you all, or if you want to run it through Uplift and they can send it to us, that's fine. But we are doing that now. It is taking us a little longer than we thought. Don't worry, you've already got lots of POIs in the system. We're just going through and updating them. But there's 100 counties, so it's taking us a little bit of time, but we're really hoping to be finished by the end of the month. So just shoot them our way, and it may be that we already have them, but that's okay. We can just kind of check them off and say, great, we already have that one. Or if you have, a new business. Now, we're not going to geofence every single restaurant in town unless that restaurant is all that you have that you think visitors will come to. So we're not going to, like in the larger communities, certainly we're not looking at every single restaurant or every single hotel, but in smaller communities, we know that those are vitally important to the tourism product. So give us your best. We're not going to do like fast food restaurants. But give us where you think visitors most go to, because that's where we're going to be able to track them and give you the best data that we can.
I love that flexibility. Thank you for that. And just to remind everyone, these reports come out monthly. Terry, you unmuted. It looks like you're gonna.
Well, I was just laughing because Melvin's restaurant here is, you wouldn't think about it, a hamburger joint, but it's very, very popular. And I was actually at our airport yesterday when 2 guys flew in, one at the complimentary car, because they came out of Fayetteville. They flew in and were just going to Melvin's because they were hungry for a hamburger. That was the whole reason for coming in.
As one
Okay,
does.
Ashton, make sure we have Melvin's on Terry's POI list. No,
that's
that happens, right?
Oh, yeah.
You've told me that, and now I know, but I might not have known about Melvin's otherwise. So that's really important for us to hear straight from you guys what assets are super important for visitors. That's a cool story.
So do you want us to send you just everything we think should be a POI, or is there somewhere we can look and see what is?
Well, one of the things we're doing, and this is another plug for Visit NC, is one of the sources we're going to is our visitnc.com. So if it's on there, then you should be fine. But if you want to, just give an extra exclamation point to something that's already on there, that's fine. We're looking at your local websites as well. However, we do know that many of you need to promote a little more broadly within the community. For instance, you may have, if you're run through a chamber, you may have to promote every single member on your website, which may not be the best way for us to track visitation. I'm just going to say it that way. So the Visit NC website is probably the top source. But then we're also, kind of cross-checking with your tourism websites to kind of make sure that we've got everything covered. So just, I would, if you want to, if you want to take a step out for us and look at what is currently on the Visit NC website, that's fine, but we're going to probably do that anyway. So, just give us your best.
Okay, because I was going to say, with the way Visit NC is allowing you to list things, Melvin's is a perfect example. It wouldn't be listed on there.
Okay, well, send us Melvin's then. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. Yep, that's fine. Oh, and I really meant in terms of attractions, but for restaurants, yeah, send us your biggies.
Okay.
Well, and you all are, we talked a few minutes ago about your DLO perk. If you decide to spend your funding on some of the marketing programs that Visit NC has, this research could inform some of the marketing decisions on how you spend the money individually as a county or collectively as a region.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be the Uplift region. It could be like your partner, your neighboring partner on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions or thoughts? Suggestions for Ashton and Marlies?
And we're always looking at ways to make this product better and easier to read. So we're open to suggestions or questions, but we're always looking to add added value to this product. So nothing's going to be taken away from it, but if we add anything new, we'll be sure to let you all know and give you a good description of what that might be. But we're constantly working with our vendor to include as much as we can.
Okay, well, thank you both so much for being here with us today. I'm excited for the next report to come out. They come out on the 15th-ish, like mid-month. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, usually Ashton, we like to give it, well, I'll let her respond since she hasn't gotten to talk much.
I know she's frozen.
She might be frozen. Yeah. Okay. So we like to give time for that geolocation data to get in there. So we've got on our calendars around the 15th. If it falls on, a weekend, Ashton is right on it the week before. So yeah, around mid-month.
Awesome. Thank you again. Thank you to the DLOs who are here today or who watch the recording later. This is such a great team. And if you need anything at all or have ideas on how to make the Uplift programming better, please don't hesitate to let us know. Thanks, everyone. Have a good
Thank you.
weekend.